Welcome to ASA. Today we're checking out the Pyromane and if it is truly worth it. Well, welcome back. After a long enough hiatus, we have ascended from Ark Survival Evolved to Ark Survival Ascended, the remastered copy of the game that came out in October of 2023. Today will be one of many feature videos covering the different parts of this remastered game, including new and old dinos, changes made to ASA in particular, new and future DLC, and more. In today's video, we'll be covering the Pyromane and its varied uses, and trying to determine whether or not it is actually worth the $5 price tag. Please note that this video will not go over the Pyromane taming process. If you do want to see me cover that, let me know below, and it will show up as a future video. Now for a little bit of background on the Pyromane. The Pyromane was released as the first creature in a paid DLC series called Fantastic Tames. The DLC was released right alongside the same ASA update that provided us the center map, which was released on June 4th, 2024. The Pyromane, as previously mentioned, does cost $5 to purchase the DLC, and grants you access to use the Fire Kitty. If you don't own the DLC, you can still own them, including trading other players for them. You simply cannot ride them. As far as I'm aware, that does include that you are able to breed them if you don't own the DLC. That is unchecked. Currently, the Pyromane, as of August 2024, only spawns on 2 maps. These 2 maps are, of course, the center and, surprisingly, Scorched Earth. On the center, Pyromanes will spawn all over what is known as Lava Island, the major island that is home to the red obelisk on that map. On Scorched Earth, they are much rarer to see. They only end up spawning at the very bottom of the Wyvern Trench, also known as the World Scar. Now, Pyromanes can be carried by wyverns, so they could be carried to bodies of water for the taming process if needed. I did notice in my research with Pyromane that another similarity to the Shadowmane is that they are actually sexually dimorphic. The males tend to have a much bigger mane than those of the female Pyromanes. The Shadowmanes in Ark Survival Evolved have a very similar feature, and both of these are comparable to real-life lions, with male lions sporting a much more prominent mane compared to their female counterparts. Now, we know that most creatures in Ark don't use all 6 color regions available in-game. Unfortunately, the Pyromane is no exception, only ending up using 3 color regions out of the available 6. Pyromane colorations can be seen on Region 2, which covers the main body color, Region 3, which covers the flame portion, and then of course Region 5, which covers the body accent of the Pyromane. Now we get to the fun part of the Pyromane, its various abilities and features that make it what feels like a versatile tame for, I would say, any tribe. As per standard with most damage dealing dinos, it has a bite, but this one packs an extra punch. It causes an effect called Pyromane Inflame, which can stack on an enemy and cause a burning effect similar to a fire wyvern's breath. This can stack up to 10. Besides a basic bite attack, the Pyromane also has a jump. This jump is comparable to either a Thylacoleo or Ark Survival Evolved's Shadowmane. The Pyromane does take it one step further with what is known as the Flame Leap ability. The Pyromane can turn into a ball of flames and jump much higher and farther than its standard jump. Now, this is again similar to the special jump that the Shadowmane in Ark Survival Evolved possesses. Now, the difference is this jump will damage anything it hits. And then of course, there is a 5-second cooldown after using the ability. Another neat little ability you can activate is one called Flame Trail. The Pyromane doesn't just leave a trail of burning footprints, but a burning trail that can damage any other enemies. Sadly, this ability cannot be used in both rain and in the water. Now that you've set your enemy on fire, you can use what is known as Flame Absorb. That means the Pyromane is able to take in fire from any nearby source, including enemies and or structures as far as I'm aware, and use that to power up its fuel meter that it has that allows you to access and or power other abilities it possesses. Speaking of using those absorbed flames, that's where Flame Boost comes into play. Flame Boost allows you to use those absorbed flames to boost your Pyromane's damage output by 50%. This ability will continue until you either decide to manually turn it off or until the Pyromane runs out of absorbed flames to power the boost. Now, besides just abilities, the Pyromane comes packed with other nice little bonuses all around, including it can transform from a full-sized mount into a warm, cuddly kitten to sit on your shoulder. As an added bonus, while on your shoulder, if your Pyromane is on neutral or aggressive and you enable special AI attacks and you are not currently mounted, the Pyromane will act like a flamethrower at a target that you attack and or are attacked by. It truly is like having a shoulder-mounted flamethrower. It's quite impressive. Another nice little addition is that both in big and little form, the Pyromane provides insulation for cold and heat resist. When the Pyromane is in shoulder pet mode, your cold and heat resist values become buffed by the buff known as Cuddled by Fire. When riding the full-sized version, the Pyromane gives a significant buff to your cold resist and an even higher buff to your heat resist. This buff is strong enough that it actually allows you on your tame to walk across lava. This buff is known as Wreathed in Fire. Yet another similar comparison to the Shadowmane is that Pyromanes have a built-in armor value. Now, sadly, this max armor for it does cap at 60, but that was typical of the Shadowmane as well. Something wildly different compared to the Shadowmane is that the Pyromane can actually cook raw meat in its inventory. It's about the same pace as a campfire. It can then turn that cooked meat into jerky without the need of any oil in its inventory and at the same pace as your typical preserving bin. Almost gives the Phoenix a run for its money for that specific purpose. Another tie-in to its fire-themed abilities is that it can actually power nearby structures that use wood, such as campfires, torches, refining forges, etc. The range at which a Pyromane powers a structure, as mentioned, can be toggled between off, low, medium, and high. Now note that having this on causes the Pyromane to burn through its food. It's very similar to when a Daedon consumes food while in healing mode. This one isn't a particular ability, but overall from my testing, the Pyromane is a fantastic tame to run caves with its ability to transform into a shoulder pet when needed, especially with that flamethrower ability, the insulation buff, and of course just the base damage output from it as a whole. It is a great animal to use for running just about any cave that doesn't have a ton of water. If you do have a ton of water in there, that gets into our downsides. While the Pyromane doesn't have a lot of downsides, there are a few to consider when using this creature. The major one is using a Pyromane anywhere near water. When using it in water, it can cause the debuff Doused. This causes the Pyromane's flame to be put out. It can no longer perform Flame Leap. Any melee attacks you use will not light their targets on fire. The insulation buffs applied to your character get cancelled out, and of course when it loses all of its flame, it includes its main as well. The other negative downside I found through my research is that if you do leave on your Pyromane to power your structures through that option we discussed earlier, of course, like I said, it will quickly burn through its food supply. Now, there is a way to conserve a Pyromane's food supply. I don't know if this is effective while it's powering structures, but if you tell the Pyromane to rest, it will curl up just like a Shadowmane and or a Megalosaurus. While sleeping, the Pyromane will get the buff Calico Sit, which will reduce the Pyromane's food consumption by up to 50% and will recover its health by 2% per second up to 50%. So if you just get home after a long trek, it would definitely be advised to let your cat rest and give it some good meat to cook. Now that we've gone a little bit in depth in the Pyromane, are they worth it? Are they worth $5 for a single DLC that allows you access? In my opinion, I would say yes. If you have the $5 and are able to purchase this creature, fantastic. I would say go for it. Now, is this creature balanced for PvP? No, I truly don't think that it was meant for that. It seems to be very pay to win when looking at it through the PvP scope. Now, as a PvE player predominantly, I don't have those issues, and I have had a lot of fun with the Pyromane, and it has been one of my main mounts for the last 2 weeks or so. Now, hopefully this showed you a thing or two, helps you decide on whether they are actually worth the price or not. And if there's anything else you'd like to see about ASA and or future videos from me, let me know down below. Hit that like button, and if you want to stick around, hit the subscribe. Thanks for watching.